Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to my show, Crypto Express, where it's my goal, passion, and purpose to help keep you up to date with what's going on in the crypto market and hopefully help you make as much money as possible by being ahead of the narrative, what's going on in the market, because we know money flows in crypto where your attention goes. So if we can catch narratives before mainstream has caught on, then you're in a really, really strong position to capitalize on it. Okay, so without further ado, let's get started. Please like and subscribe. It would mean a lot to me and just tells me that this information is valuable to you. All right, so just a quick word on Bitcoin. So we know Bitcoin is currently trending just shy of 52,000. And I suspect, I'm not a pro trader, but I do know enough to know basically the market makers, the global market makers, US, China, and Europe's patterns, right? And I know that over the weekend is just not a good time to do anything. Just let it ride out. And usually you can expect for market open around 9 o'clock in the morning, Eastern Standard Time, to see the first movement. And then from there, make your decisions. But once again, this is not financial advice. It's just what I know. That said, we know Bitcoin's doing good because basically everybody that invests through major institutions, they're buying in, basically, right? Okay, so that's a word on Bitcoin. Now let's jump into the token that I'm very excited to share with you, which is Bit Tensor. And the token, as I'll highlight on the screen, is called TAO. Okay, take a look at this chart. This is the last 3 months. So let's just start with the chart, right? The chart speaks volumes all in of itself. This is the 1 month chart, quite the aggressive bullish chart. The last 7 days, okay, last 24 hours, a little bit of sideways trending. It is quite, it is relatively expensive, but its story and its purpose is what is so powerful. And all of this was really actually set off. So first off, okay, so Bit Tensor came to market last October, and when it did, no one really paid attention to it. The AI narrative hadn't really kicked off. OpenAI, Midjourney, all of these other AI powered tools had not really taken off yet. So no one really paid attention, but when it skyrocketed, it basically went from like $40 up to about $700. And when it did, that's when everyone, just paid attention. But that said, it hasn't really, it didn't pick up so much momentum. So let's look at the last year. See how it just was like flat. Can you see my screen? It was just flat for like forever. And then it was really around November that it started to take off. And this is where we're at now. So if that's not bullish, I don't know what is. And I believe, not financial advice, but this may be truly the beginning of a tsunami type takeoff, if that's even a thing, because of something phenomenal that happened. I don't have the exact date. Let's jump ahead a little bit. But in this video by Kyle Chassé, my partner also, and founder and CEO of one of the top venture studios in the crypto space that have real builders, real token economic gurus. They're just incredibly brilliant. I've had the honor of working with some of them as well. This is his channel and this is his explanation. So let me just tune in for you.
So what is the whole point of today's video? Sora came out, and this was all over the place. And I can't say that I was so surprised because I had seen a lot of stuff leading up to this, but I think the quality of what's going on here is mind-blowing. And it just goes to show you that eventually, also the simulation theory, are we living? It's actually mind-blowing. So, but more importantly, this kicked off an entire crypto AI 24-hour bull run. Now, of course, everything in AI has been pumping. And we'll talk about that in a second. But I just thought this was also fascinating. So Sam wants to go out and create raised $7 trillion. How do you even do that? How do you value a company when you're raising 7 trillion? What is it valued at? 40? It's unbelievable. Something just tells me he will probably do something like this. And I wouldn't expect, this to be the end of Sam's from his innovation. Obviously not. But this is crazy, right? And for those of you guys who aren't familiar, we have the world has a large dependence on Taiwan right now for chip manufacturing, silicon, things like that. And there's been a lot of discussion about how to bring that, domestically into the United States. This is probably a proposal to do that. But as you can see from the article here, he's out, soliciting different governments from like UAE, Dubai, things like that. Abu Dhabi, probably Saudi.
I'm here right now.
I actually saw a post the other day too that said, once you realize that ChatGPT 5 made Sora, it all starts to make sense. And because Sora...
I'm going to pause right there, but that really paints a picture, right? I assume most of everyone watching this video knows what OpenAI ChatGPT is. It's basically an AI model like Google, but it's, AI powered, it's extremely fast. And there's been 5 versions of it. I have it. I have not tried Sora yet, but Sora, S-O-R-A, is basically a speech to video execution, beautiful video AI model. And what he just said right now says it all. It's like once you realize that it's ChatGPT's, version 5 that created Sora, that really just paints a picture, of where we're at, where AI's at, its capability. And there's a chart I want to show you. I'm just going to jump ahead a little bit and show you. Where'd it go? I'm not sure where it is anymore. But anyway, it's a beautiful chart and it just shows you basically, how fast AI has been adopted. But that said, I want to respect your time. Oh, here we go. Perfect. I love it when I organize myself well. And this basically just shows you see at the very bottom, right? And it compares ChatGPT with all of the top, conglomerate tech companies and how long it took them to reach 1 million users. Netflix, 3.5 years, Kickstarter 2.5, Airbnb 2.5, Twitter 2 years, Facebook 10 months, Spotify 5 months, Instagram 2.5 months. Anyway, ChatGPT 5 days. That just shows you how hot the AI market is. We know it's the future. It goes without saying, and I think most of us are a little scared about what that means too. Actually, AI ethics is something that really interests me. I've thought of looking into a PhD on this. But today's project that I'm covering, Bit Tensor, solves it in the most, I'm not going to say solve, that's a big word, but it lays out the groundwork and the incentive model, modeling after Bitcoin's model, which is decentralized, permissionless, and it uses basically all the computers available all over the world to help validate information in a decentralized way so no one government can control it. Anyway, pretty powerful stuff. This video explains it very well. So let us listen to this.
The effort that is gone into everything that's done there is a means to an end, but in and of itself has no value, right? This hashing mechanism that all of these computers around the world filling data centers, burning through vast amounts of energy are doing, does not have any value in and of itself. It's a means to an end. But what if there was a way that we could take that mechanism, that incentive, and build a blockchain marketplace where actually all of that work did have value? Rather than wasting it, it was actually going towards something useful. What if we could apply that same concept of decentralized, incentivized, permissioned network to machine learning? Well, that's what Bit Tensor is. Bit Tensor leverages the same innovation that brought us consensus, on things like Bitcoin, but brings it to, what we're deeming the most sort of important thing in this sort of fourth industrial age that we're going through, which is machine intelligence, right? Machine knowledge. The hash function in Bitcoin, as I said, is a very concrete function. It simply finds a pattern to find bytes that match a particular pattern. The consensus mechanism of Bit Tensor has to deal with a far more fuzzy set of outcomes. It has to deal with, actually evaluating knowledge. So if I ask everybody here in this room to take, say, a paragraph or a page of Shakespeare, for example, and summarize it down to a few sentences. Everybody here would come back with probably something slightly different based upon their understanding. Now, the question being, how do we evaluate which is the best summarization of that data? How do we work out which one of those participants should be rewarded and how much they should be rewarded for their effort? And that's what the consensus mechanism in Bit Tensor does. It looks at the decentralized network with each participant contributing effectively intelligence, knowledge to the network. And they're rewarded in accordance to how well they are providing that information. So in the same way that if I was to reward people here for how well they could summarize that Shakespeare, then hopefully that would incentivize people to maybe go off and learn more about the Shakespeare to get a better summary and get a better reward. So we're building a massive decentralized neural network that's aimed at better understanding the information in the world around us. At the moment, the current state of the industry is that it is dominated by a number of large players. Players like Meta, aka Facebook, our hosts here this evening, Microsoft, Google, Uber. They're all companies that have dedicated AI teams that are working on these big algorithms. But these kind of institutions are doing it in a very siloed way. They're seeking the computational power of say, Bitcoin, but they're doing it in the wrong substrate. They're building huge, great big centralized data centers to process this and to run their models on. What if instead of solving these machine learning problems with big centralized supercomputers, we leveraged every computer available on the internet? That's what Bitcoin showed us, right? The computing power of the Bitcoin network is greater than the top 500 supercomputers combined. The scale that we could possibly reach for that sort of thing would mean we'd have a lot more availability to train much larger data sets.
Was that beautiful or what? Or is it just me? I hope that made sense. I pulled out key excerpts or key parts of the following next articles to help further explain it. But basically, this is the scene, right? They say that blockchain and crypto have been criticized for years as a solution in search of a problem. Basically saying that Bitcoin and blockchain were early. They came to the world with this incredible technology and ability to validate information in a, uncensored way, in a pure, transparent, benevolent way. But before its time, it was too early. The world didn't see the need for it yet. And then it says here, now some industry entrepreneurs may have found the problem, a shortage of compute power needed to train AI models. So this goes back to what Kyle was sharing in his video about how we know that the majority of the world's chips are created in Vietnam. So that's why actually it's a political conversation, but that's why many countries, Vietnam tends to find itself, being bullied, I'll put it that way, by big companies. Sorry, basically that's what they are, big countries that, want more of it, feel threatened by it, or other reasons. That said, as we saw in the previous video, we see that there are major companies, Facebook, Google, Microsoft, they're all leading the way. Alibaba is actually the largest of them all. I read about in a book called AI Superpowers. And everyone's developing AI, but they're doing it independently and developing their own models. And what's so troubling about it, as I'm sure you've seen, is that each of them have their own algorithms. And based on your interaction with their platforms, Amazon, Alibaba, Facebook, or Meta, they are trained to use that data in a very specific way. And anyway, that may not be entirely what Bit Tensor is going after. Actually, it's not. What it is going after, or its use case, is that it's basically like Bitcoin's network, where it's just using all of these decentralized nodes all over the world to validate data, but it's doing that for our information. So like actual knowledge, like knowledge about like medicine, knowledge about, different, like about financial information about health, about politics, about it's a decentralized neural network, which is great because it means not one party or another can control that information and manipulate what we end up believing to be true. And I think that's where I was going a minute ago. That's what's fundamentally, or like the underpinning, importance of the value Bit Tensor will bring to the world, is that it will safely process our information in a way that is, for majority's sake, like in the grand scheme of things, will be as true as possible, because it's going to take in all the information from all over the world as these nodes and this neural network grows, and validate it. It has to be validated, across all the sources to be, validated as true. Anyway, I will need to go into much more detail, further detailed research to get a really thorough explanation for you. But from a high level, that's what I understand from it. And it's beautiful because it's democratizing and decentralizing knowledge. So it's like the savior coming into the arena, the marketplace, in our defense, in a way. And now we can trust and know that our information is not in the hands of any one individual single AI superpower. It's going to be decentralized and controlled through this decentralized neural network. So it's like blockchain and AI, coming together in the most beautiful way. And that's what this article says. It's basically saying that, it's talking about providing the decentralized network for AI to continue to scale, because right now Microsoft, Amazon, Dell, not Dell, all of these major companies that I just mentioned a moment ago that are using AI, they are running their models and they're scaling their models in centralized data centers, and with their own mega computer centers, and that's not scalable. They're probably stunting their own ability to develop their AI models because they're basing it on physical computers on site, and that's not going to be enough compute power for them, whereas blockchain provides a decentralized network. So it's quite amazing. I'm extremely excited about this token, and this is their website, Bit Tensor, and this visual, this animation they have on the screen really says it all. So imagine your data and all the knowledge in the world could be validated in a network that looks like this. Enough said, you could go to sleep at night and feel like information is being validated to be true in the truest way possible. But okay, enough on the nerdy stuff. I just want to drive home the value in this overview, which is from their website, bittensor.org. And it's really great information. I'll link all these networks, all of these resources below for you. But this overview paragraph here really summarizes it very nicely, if my explanation didn't do it so far. And it says, Bit Tensor is a mining network similar to Bitcoin that offers censorship-resistant access to a decentralized network of machine learning models. By leveraging digital incentives and rewarding participants directly for their contributions to the computational resources, expertise, and innovation, Bit Tensor establishes a comprehensive open source ecosystem of artificial intelligence competencies. The native currency TAO, TAO, constitutes both rewards and access tokens to the network. So that's what's great. The miners earn TAO by validating, each block of information. And you can also buy it, which I showed you earlier. And then you can stake them and basically lend them to super nerds that want to help validate and protect the network and validate information. It's wonderful. It's one of those save your future, save it for, save the future generations type of a project. And with the news that we just heard a moment ago, also in Kyle's video about, Sora coming to market, and understanding that ChatGPT's version 5 designed it, and the news that sent through the crypto space with all the AI tokens pumping, you know, it really paints a picture of how huge Bit Tensor could get, you know, because it has a real use case. And then this sentence I also highlighted for you, and it basically says, you know, this is Bit Tensor's overarching vision, directing the power of digital markets towards society's most important digital commodity, artificial intelligence, not only to build a most powerful intelligence network, but also to ensure that the benefits and the ownership of machine intelligence are in the hands of mere mortals, bottom up rather than top down. Isn't that beautiful? It's beautiful. It's like the savior to the fear everybody has about AI taking over the world and all these things, you know? It's like the beginning of it anyway. And this is Bit Tensor's developer documentation doc. I'll link it below. We're not going to get into it today, but I will link these resources below if you want to learn more about it. And then here's just a bit that explains how it works, right? So let me zoom in a little bit. It says, how does the Bit Tensor protocol work? The Bit Tensor protocol is a decentralized machine learning protocol that enables the exchange of machine learning capabilities and predictions among participants in a network. It facilitates the sharing and collaboration of machine learning models and services in a peer-to-peer manner. It's beautiful, honestly. And then here's just a quick summary, you know, and it says the invention of Bitcoin was a revolutionary moment for humanity because it introduced two simultaneously united yet distinct technological innovations, reshaping the way humans organize themselves. Primarily, it was the first ever decentralized currency, which gave humanity a shared value system, one that could not be mutated by vested or decentralized interests. With this, Bitcoin promised a future of fair anti-fiat or traditional currency finance. And then it goes on to explain the other purposes, you know, it has, and it wraps up with the vision, which I shared a moment ago, about how it really brings the power back to the people and controlling our information. Powerful stuff. And this tweet, if we click on the link, is just everything. So if you want to go learn about, because this is going to be the narrative that I believe is going to be a trending narrative. This crypto bull run, because it just makes sense. We know AI is on the rise. We see it everywhere. It's being implemented everywhere. There's Midjourney, there's Dolly, there's, you know, ChatGPT. Now there's Sora. Like, we know AI is here, and it's fundamentally changed the way human beings exist and operate forever, like the invention of the internet. And we know AI is that. It's the fourth like, what is it called? It's not industrial revolution anymore, but it's like the fourth technological revolution that like the world is seeing. And this website is awesome. I will link it below, and this is where you can go to learn more about understanding the intersection, like where do AI and crypto meet. Powerful stuff. And in terms of your investment, right, or like wanting to understand, like, is it still a good time to get in? Well, this website, which I'll also link below, demonstrates where we're at, right? And this is the TAO stats. So, excuse me, what you see in this like sort of turquoise color, mint turquoise color, is the current circulating but delegated or staked. So it's like what I was saying, you know, it's like this is the amount that is in the market that people have staked or like gone in like pinned or pegged, right? Like they've like deposited, I don't know what word, it's almost like escrow in a way, I don't know. They've gone and they've staked it. And this is being used by current miners to validate and protect the network. What's in orange is just circulating free. Like, this is not staked. This is just independent people that just own it. And then everything that's in gray, everything you see here, is yet to be issued or dropped or like released to the market. So this is the growth opportunity and potential for the token to like grow, to pump. So we're very, very, very early. And then this is what it's, it just paints a picture of its chart. And this is how much we've pumped in like the last few months. So we are very, very early, especially with the news of Sora and ChatGPT and Sam Altman fundraising. What is it? $7 trillion. Like, this narrative is going to pump. It is. Okay. I'm not a fortune teller, but just look at the chart. Can you see it? I know my face is always in the way, but that is an extremely bullish chart. And just to wrap it up, another reason as to why we know it's going to pump is because they have an update coming for their subnets, and it's a major upgrade. And we know with typically the way it goes is every time a project has a new upgrade or a new release or a new something, the whole community gets bullish. And we know that with a bullish, a fanatical community, usually that's an extremely good indicator that that project's going to do good in the long run. I mean, we can see this with Cardano. I mean no disrespect, but it's been said, and I've heard, because I come from venture studio, and so I understand, I have a good understanding of tech. I'm not a developer, but it's not the best tech, but people have incredible respect for Charles Hodgkinson, the founder, and there's an incredible community at Cardano, and like pretty much, Chainlink, Doge, like think of like that, like think of those tokens and how bullish and committed that community is. That's the caliber of community we're looking at with TAO, with Bit Tensor. So just to paint a picture where we're at, and in terms of how high it could pump, let me hop out of here because in terms of how well it'll do in the long run, of course, it's hard to estimate because we're talking about completely new, a radically new crypto asset class. Is that a way of putting it? It's completely new. Like, how do you price? I mean, with Bitcoin, you know how to price it. With, a layer 1 or a layer 2, there's specific criteria you can look at to know and have an idea. You can compare it to, a similar project with a similar use case and compare it to its, market cap or its fully diluted valuation, whatever. There's so many key metrics you can look at. But with something like AI, how do you even value that? There isn't enough information on it. It's just completely new. But we can look at ChatGPT and how well it's done. We saw a moment ago its chart. It's a really good indicator. And now look at the tech that OpenAI is rolling out. And look at how much Sam Altman's looking to go fundraise, because there is this massive need to create these chips, to these like silicone chips, to allow for AI or OpenAI's AI to keep, learning and scaling. While all the meanwhile, something like Bit Tensor exists that can do it in a decentralized way and protect how could I say it? Like the purity of the knowledge and the truth that is considered truth because it's decentralized through, and controlled and validated through something like Bit Tensor. So it's like Bit Tensor is the answer. People just have not connected the dots yet. And of course, this is not financial advice, but it's just a matter of connecting dots. That's the way I see it. Connecting dots. And if you're good at that, which I love, then, and if these dots made sense to you, then we could be in extremely early. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed. I enjoyed bringing this to you. And hello from Saudi. We're in Alula. It's actually my birthday trip because I didn't get to celebrate last week. But anyway, I'll be sharing videos on my personal socials if you want to go check them out. I think they're linked below. But anyway, I will catch you later. Please let me know if you have any questions. And that said, ciao. Catch you later.